As part two of these narrations and storylines that try to paint in my brain to make me acceptive of today's manipulation that I showed in the first part. For me, I know this low life. I have no shame, and I keep saying that target visual. These perps have no shame. A perp came by my door. He said, using this voice, right? That's who you are. And they have these ways of just using the tonality that I guess because she talks like that, I'm supposed to be, you know what, you're right. This is who I am. Bunch of clown, contracted by governmental entities, filled with pedophiles, try to make you accepting of this manipulation. I love the fact they try to create this false. For me, I put in the face when they go all out with the retardation. Oh my gosh, it's time for me to shine. And for them, it's like, okay, we're gonna have to do extra work to make him accept this retardation. For me, I'm like, please, I'll drag you back in this even worse. Now, in the first part, I made sure to address how they create this false narrative. Today, what's happening is they're forcing me to have this nasty reaction toward kids or anybody who looks like a kid, even young adults. Now, please understand, I have looked at young adults in a sexual way. Please. But I know I'm being manipulated. They just want to paint this perception and ways of just to make me accepting of this persona. It's like, no, you like young. It's like, no, I don't. That's not my preference. But please understand, I could look at a young adult in the 20s or so, especially when I'm younger, in a sexual way. When I'm 31, I can look at a 22 and 20. Even today, if there's some 22-year-old looking, I could. But I understand what you're doing because today you're forcing me to have sexual stimulation toward children. And so you want to paint this false persona. Now, I'm forced to see these children, but they're so compromised to the point where they're even framing me. And this is the people I'm supposed to accept who I am. You, who's framing me with children, I should be acceptive of who I am because you're saying it in such a way. As a target individual, you are being manipulated. It's just manipulations. You deal with manipulation non-stop. And these perps do everything possible to get you to be acceptive of this manipulation. Target individual, do not identify with this. It's called gaslighting. They create a psyop, a presentation. They even make themselves talk in certain ways. And I don't know, with me, I was like, do you obviously know that this to me gives me material for me to just make you a clown. When you tell me like, hey, this is who you are. You do that to me? You know who you know I'm gonna mock the life out of you? If you try to talk to me in this way, thinking that's gonna make me accept it. Should I be like, oh, this is who I am? I'd rather die in the street than live life like you. You live life like a fucking clown. Working for governmental entities where there's clearly issue with pedophilia, and then you try to make me identify with the clearly manipulated brain that you're forcing me to experience. Then your validation is this part two is based on part one. Part one, I talk about how as I'm in my new apartment and somebody's moving downstairs, I get to see that person when she's moving in. When I'm coming out from the gym, I'm walking the stairs and I see these young adults putting things in this apartment. She's moving on her own, or at least, she's the one moving her stuff in. She's not moving in with her family, and to be honest, she's not the type that look like she grew up in that area. So it's clearly that she's some kind of college student, university student, moving in here. She's not moving into a place where it is like family oriented in the sense of like the apartment. It seems like either she's moving by herself or moving in with roommates. It's clear. There's a bunch of people like her in this building. Same demographic, same race, same age group, in that building, going to the school around here. Columbia, right? It's clear she's one of the university student there. Now, I don't know if she's a grad school or whatever, but she's a student, a university student. I hope you capture the nose campaign. Because what they were trying to make me imagine is like, oh, What if she no, she's like, she's a student, but she was not an adult yet. Matter of fact, at one point they tried to make me mention, no, she was moving in with her family. It's like, trust me, it's clear that she's not moving in with her family, and I just saw her moving the stuff, not her family members. We could see her, and the way she was dressed was this. She was wearing this crop top, where half of her chest area was kind of showing at the bottom. So I'm looking at her, I was like, okay, well, I should maybe help her. You know, I'm not perfect. But clearly she was moving in here. She was some new student, university student here around there. A few days later, I think I see her with somebody who looks older than her, like 50s. Like a woman that's in the 50s. I don't know if it's her mother or not. But it's supposed to make me think, she that's her mother. They live, like, trust me, she's not living with her mother in this apartment. And I've seen her again a few times. She's clearly a university student somewhere here. The story that keep coming up in my brain, now they just try to make me imagine, now she moved in and with no shame. And it's going into my brain the way they want it. To paint her as an underage person, because it's clearly that she's not. Because she's moving into an apartment with either roommates or by herself. And so that shows that they're most likely like a young adult. But because they want me to make me have this perception where, not even perception, they want me to identify with these pedophilia things that they force me to have today every time I see kids of all ages. They want me to think that she's a kid that just moved into an apartment by herself. Oh, maybe now they try to flip it around. It's like, no, maybe her family moves. Like, you know, clearly her family don't live here. She doesn't live with her family. And she's not the demographic of people that live here as a family. People that look like her are university students. So they try to paint these stories with no shame. And to hear a perp who just tried to make me accept of this, because the way I looked at her, the way I perceived her, was in a sexual way. When I saw her the first time coming down with this cropped shirt showing almost half of her chest, moving her stuff from the U-Haul to go into the apartment in Harlem, where there's a bunch of university students living that building too, and seeing her putting stuff in it. Me thinking of her, seeing her in the sexual way, it's like, okay, we can make him think that maybe she's underage. That'll be proof that today, when we're forcing him to have this reaction toward his kids, it's validation. It's you. That's who you are. Clown ass. I know who I am. I'm not what you wish I was. That's why you're out here falsifying the story of this person, going in all directions and creating all storylines to try to make me accept of the, I know who I am, but most importantly, I know what you're trying to do, and I know what you truly are, and I know who you really are, and I know who's really behind these things, and I know what kind of issues they have, and I know with the special agent when they try to catch pedophiles, well, who they end up catching, you fucking retard. I know what your job is as a clown, and it's my pleasure, it's my freaking pleasure, my honor, to ensure that you know who you are, as you try to paint this false reality. Because today you're forcing me to have this reaction toward these children. And so now you tried to bring up anything that you can create and paint that as validation for today's forced reaction toward kids of all ages. Anything they can try to use, falsify in whatever ways, creating stories to the point where this person that now they're trying to make me imagine, no, she's moving in with her family, because because the obviousness of her moving by herself, her carrying the stuff in this place where there's a bunch of other students like her, and having her roommates there, make it obvious that she's just a university student. Now they try to even incorporate family members. Stupidity. Target individual. These perps have no shame. Be lucky that you're not them. And they make themselves talk like they didn't have to be clowns. Like, it's like, you can make me think whatever way. I got it. Now imagine I see you. It's like, this is the clown. Tell me who I am. Death comes to all of us. Dark individuals, stay strong and see this low life where they are.